Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So a friend of mine had an issue with his water heater. Apparently his water heater is not heating up the water efficiently. It's running out quick. So the first thing you want to troubleshoot, make sure the fuse is not popped, or there's many things that goes on with the electric water heater. So he has an electric water heater. This is, I believe, a 75-gallon tank. It's a huge tank.
120, yeah.
120 gallon. Thank you. So if you ever work with the electric water heater, these are they're very easy to work with, but they also can be complicated to work with. So as you can see, I've taken the plate off. This is where the elements are. These water heaters have two elements. But before you get to do anything with this, safety first. Make sure you cut the fuse. Make sure you cut the power to the water heater. You also need to turn off the water coming into the water heater. All right. Almost all water heaters have a shut-off switch, shut-off valve. Shut off the water. Next thing you want to do is you will hook up a water hose to the bottom of the water heater. You're going to run the hose to a drain. Okay. And there's a valve right here that you open up usually with a flathead screwdriver. And when you do this, it's going to release the water out of the tank from here all the way to the drain. But you also, this is the important part, this is an air pressure release valve. So you need to make sure it's in this position. So this, what it does, it'll allow air to come into the tank as the water flows into the drain. So this is the part that takes the longest time. Typically, it takes about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the type of the tank that you have, how big it is, water flow, airflow, and all that stuff. So it'll take about an hour to get there. So while you're doing that, you want to make sure that your power's off again. You take the face plates off, and you get to the top one first, right? You want to make sure you get to the top one. And then, second safety, get your tester, make sure that these are not powered. Okay? So you got electricity coming in, you want to make sure none of this is powered, okay? One of the troubleshootings you want to do, there's a fuse here. Okay? There's a fuse, this is a safety fuse for the water heater. So if the elements fail, what happens is this is one of the safety fuses that's going to be here, and the bottom one doesn't have one. Okay, there's only one safety fuse for the entire system. So, what's next? So, we disconnected the power, we drained the water. What I did was, I already loosened these up, so I took this wire out, and also take a picture of the wire setting. So you want to make sure all the wires go back to the way they were. So I took this out, took these wires out, took this wire out, right? And then you'll most likely need one of these tools, right? These are the tools that go over the element, and you can open it up. Now, in our case, we ran into a problem. We could not open this thing. It was hard to open with. So, our next best friend is an impact wrench. Don't do what I do. I'm just telling you, if you get to that level, you might need some extra hands, some extra help to open up the valve. This actually, within probably like two tries, it opens up the whole thing. So I haven't taken this element out, so let's see what the element looks like. So it's gonna open up like so. And again, you gotta make sure the water is empty and you have your element coming out. So, this is actually not bad, considering he ran his he's on well water, so there was a lot of hard water coming in. So I have to see the bottom one to see how the bottom one looks. But there's a lot of rust, but I don't know. Well, it's either bad or not. So the only thing we could find out is after we hook up the new ones, right? So now he got a different style one. As you can see, the new one's a little bit longer, but it should fit this model. We already checked, so all that works out fine. and these might be a little bit more efficient. These they have a longer element tube, so it produces a little bit more heat, so it might heat up the water faster. So again, there is no right or wrong on how to connect these wires. So there's these are the hot connection basically. So as soon as a circuit is completed, these elements get hot. So let's put this in. The difficult part is here because it's going to be so front heavy, so you're going to have to play like a balancing act. And if you have arthritis like me, it's not fun trying to put this back in there. Here we go. All right, so we don't need the impact wrench for this one. You can just get the socket, and tighten it up. You want a good amount of force on this thing. It's tight enough. You don't want to over tighten it either because you might break the seal. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna put the wires back on this one. The red one was there. I'm gonna do that. One goes there. And the yellow one goes in here. All right, one more safety thing. Make sure your screws are well tight, because any loose screws, these will arc. It could cause fire or it could cause a short. Okay, so this done. Now we're gonna get to the bottom one.
You might have still some water running.
So the bottom one, it's also the same way. You disconnect the wires. You want to take a picture of which wires, which side. All right. Now, I'm gonna try this guy again to see if I could open it. If not, then we're gonna try the impact wrench. See, this one opened up a lot easier. So one thing you want to do is open this up very slowly. Okay, there might still be water in here, so you might have some spillage, so have a towel or something ready here to catch the water. Also, highly recommended, make sure you turn off the heater for at least 5 or 6 hours, because this thing will have hot water and you have potentially can burn yourself if water spills out. So as you can see, there's still water coming out from this, so I'm going to close this out because the water is still draining out of this thing. So you can see like that, there's water coming out of the water heater. So we're going to give it another 20 minutes or so, then we're going to come back and we're going to open it up. Hopefully the water has drained out, so stay tuned. All right guys, so we made a little bit of a mess, but it's okay. It's a concrete floor, so I don't mind the water. It takes about at least 3 to 4 hours for the water to fully drain, because it's draining very slowly. So I kind of rushed it, so I kind of drained it from here, very slowly. We kind of felt this small out and poured it in here, but look what it came out of this water heater. So no wonder this water heater was bad, because the element is pretty much shot. Okay.
Now, what
It's
do you think is
corroded.
the reason? Is it corrosion? Just a corrosion?
It's corrosion. It's mainly caused by corrosion. Something went inside and just ate this thing alive. This is just terrible. So just in comparison, this is a new coil and this is the old one. But I'm gonna give you another comparison. We put the old one that we took from the top just to, so we could, as you can see, still water's coming out. So this is the old one from the top. I'm gonna put this back in here so we can stop this water from leaking all over the place. So you want to put this back in here.
Did
All
you
right.
need to tape it?
We're gonna, no, you don't need to tape anything. We're gonna shut the valve off for the drain. Takes a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to take this off because we don't need it anymore. And you're going to hook up the wires just so you took it off. And the next thing you want to do, you want to turn on the main water line and let this thing fill up. And you got to always remember, close off the valve. All right? So now, in order for you to get full capacity and zero air bubbles in your pipes, you want to turn on all the hot water faucets everywhere in the house. This will prevent air bubbles, this will prevent shaking and all that stuff. You don't want any air bubbles in your pipelines because it's gonna create vibration when you turn the water on. So a lot of old systems will do that. So highly recommended. Turn on the hot water faucet almost everywhere. I usually do it everywhere. You know, a lot of people have a preference to just do that top, so that'll help the air escape. But I will do any faucet I have connection to, like in the bathrooms, in the shower, kitchen, and whatnot. You do that, and then you check for leaks, make sure everything is sealed off, and you put everything back. So it's very easy to change the elements on the electric water heaters. The only issue is some of these can turn on like this. But water, drains very, very slowly out of these things, very slowly. So take your time, don't rush. The only reason I did this because I have to go home. But this is expected. Have towels handy, have things to put around the water heater just because you're dealing with water. You don't want water all over the place. But very common. This is a common problem with electric water heaters. Okay, so but you got to check with your manufacturer to see what fits your water heater. So this one, it's a 5500 watt, 240 volt element. We'll put the link. I'll put the link in the description.
And it does match the A.O. Smith.
I'll match the brand. So
Sure.
everyone's gonna have a different brand.
Small units.
Not everyone's gonna have the same one, but yeah, this is it. All right, I'm gonna put this back together, guys. We're gonna run the water, and hopefully there will be no leaks, and then we close everything off, and he should have hot water by tonight. So leave your comments down below. Let me know if I did anything wrong. but you know it's very straightforward the process. Let me know what
Some
you think.
people they might ask question. These were flat elements, and these ones are bent a little bit longer.
So a
And
good
5500.
point of that. A lot of the elements are no longer in production. Your water heater might be an old model, so you might not find the exact same element, but there are comparables, right? So they're comparable parts that you could actually use in the same water heater. But don't worry about what it's shaped like. Okay, if it's comparable to your model, that means it'll fit, it'll work. You know, if it's just a flat or if it has a twist top, doesn't matter. As long as it's compatible with your model and brand, it'll work just fine. But one last thing, guys, safety first. Make sure there's no water anywhere near the electrical parts. You want it as dry as possible. Everything here you want dry. You don't want to create a short. You don't want to create a spark. You don't want to shorten the thermostat or the safety switch. So make sure it's very, very dry as you put it back together. So other than that, leave your comments down below, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. You know, I'll bring you as much information as I can. The stuff that you can do around the house with just very simple tools. You don't need $1,000 worth of tools just to do this simple job. So until next time, peace out.